One of my favorite things about this particular show, this particular podcast, is that we had this grand plan of having a 6-hour show where Art and I were going to basically discuss the 3 Star Wars movies in real time and talk about issues and how we felt about certain things. And whoever would
Walk
come
on?
and sit and with us, we were basically going to involve them in our own personal journey through these movies. And about never did we do that.
Well, how often do you sit and watch Star Wars movies and like the 5th most popular yo-yo expert walks by and it's like, well, we gotta watch that. That was awesome.
That's true. I mean, this was a complete shit show, but I mean, it was entertaining. I mean,
There's also something to be said about the fact that you guys are wanting to sit here and go through, scene by scene, all these movies, expressing, how you feel about them.
Sure.
But we've all seen these movies 175
I know.
times.
No, not true. I have not.
Actually,
seen
no,
these. I've seen
I
these
have.
movies about once.
Isn't that weird? That's very weird. This
Yeah.
is a rare person. And the kid with the yo-yo from the Philippines?
Never seen
any of them. I'm like, God, that's so foreign to me to know that there's anybody
just
out
started
there that
bleeding
exists.
out of my ear a little
I know.
bit.
It just doesn't make sense. So you saw them when they first came out, and then that was it.
Well, no. I saw the first one when it first came out, and then I saw the other 2 in a VHS or something.
Sure. But then that's it.
Betamax.
That's it.
Right.
That was the superior format, by the way.
It was. Much better quality, absolutely.
Laserdisc.
Porn.
Laserdisc superior to Betamax.
Remember when the Star Wars
Porn won the war.
Laserdisc box came out, and I had a friend who had that. That was the coolest thing in the
Yeah.
world.
Somebody had a Laserdisc?
The Laserdisc box set when it came out. Yeah, it was pretty
that
cool.
That was in surround sound, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was.
Yeah.
That was
You
that's
had to
the
have
first
a
time.
Special audio
Not that you
system.
could play it in surround sound. Right. Nobody
No,
had
you a
that.
Special audio
Right.
system, like a Macintosh or something.
Right. Everybody still had
I'm
mono.
not talking Apple either. Fuck
Right.
that.
Right.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't.
Okay, well,
You can edit
I have
that out.
I have a Star Wars comment for you, then,
Go
so
ahead.
we can stay on the Star Wars thing, because
Okay.
it just happened.
Since we're watching it.
Yeah.
We haven't even seen the Ewoks yet, so we're good.
George Lucas went back and re-edited and re-CGI'd all of these movies, and one of the main things that he did, other than adding new creatures and backgrounds and stuff, was enhance the explosions to make them more real.
Yes.
Many of which
Planetary.
take place in space.
Right.
Right.
Like, why are you making the explosions brighter in a place where there can't be explosions? Like, there can't be explosions there to begin with. And he decided he was
To
going
make
to
it more.
the effort to make more explosions.
I thought he enjoyed 2001. It sounds like he's completely forgotten that movie existed. There's not a lot of noise out there.
Because in his brain,
I know.
that's as far as I got.
Yes, he enhanced the explosions.
He did 1138, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I watched that movie. It was boring as hell.
But for the year it came out,
I mean, I understood it. It was a good story, a good film.
wow, they are blasting that music back there.
Yeah.
My George Lucas fan theory is this: while shooting the first Star Wars, George Lucas slept with someone on set and got syphilis, and never was treated, and so his brain just became more addled, and,
Right.
and more holes were eaten away into his reasoning centers,
Was it
which
Mark-
explains.
was it Mark Hamill?
It might have been.
The signs were there, as they said, Ewoks are going to be what foil the whole goddamn thing. And
What a letdown. You know, they were really building towards something amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the silly teddy bears.
Can
They can
JJ
throw rocks.
retcon the end? Can he retcon the end of
Yeah, he can.
Jedi in his new movie? Can he achieve
He
that?
can. Whether he will
He's got-
is to be seen.
he's got so much pressure on him because everybody in the internet hates everything. And
Isn't that the
he
fun
made,
thing? That's the fun thing about the internet, though. You
It
get
is.
to hate anything and everything.
Anonymously.
It
And you don't
is.
even have to source why you hate things.
It's
You
true.
can just say, oh, it's stupid. It sucks.
People say that about the Star Trek movies he directed. You know, they did very well. They made tons of money.
Yeah.
They're going to make at least 2 more films. But there's haters. There's always going to be haters. So I imagine there'll be people who don't like the new Star Wars movie, and they probably already have that in their minds that they're not going to like
My
it.
problem with his Star Trek movies was, one, he wasn't a Star Trek fan
Right.
before he started doing it, which I think is disingenuous to the fans.
I agree.
And 2, lens flares.
Ugh.
And 3, he had this whole concept of literally retconning the entire Star Trek universe, which they did fairly eloquently in a comic book that nobody read. I read the graphic novel where it shows what was happening with Romulus, why Spock and the Vulcan Science Institute put that together, the ship with the red matter and everything
Right.
went over and everything like that. And it was a very well written graphic novel. And then they didn't do anything with it at all. There was a 1 minute flashback scene where Spock sort of covered what happened and why that would actually change things in the new Star Trek universe.
Was the reason they chose that so that they can hit the reset button and now they can start all over again?
Exactly, because now you don't have. I mean, in
X-Men
OTS,
are doing the same thing.
Yeah, in OTS, or I'm sorry, TOS.
TOS.
The original series.
Yes, the original series.
ODS is something different.
That's over the shoulder. That's television talk for when the graphic is over your shoulder. That's called an
No, I get
OTS.
that. No, that's a shot. You go over the shoulder of the actor to the. Never mind. Anyway, go on.
It's a name of a graphic in television. But go ahead.
Anyway, they were all old established.
It's the toy in the subway for the kids. Yes. Go ahead.
All of the crew of the Enterprise was established officers.
Yes.
Except for
Uhura.
Chekhov.
Check off. Right.
Yeah.
Chekhov was a red shirt, right? He was a
Well, he became weapons.
okay.
He became the.
Wait, who was the
weapons security officer?
Navigation.
who was the navigation?
Sulu.
That's right. That's right.
Gotcha. Okay,
Sulu
okay.
had the con, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And he'll never let you forget it either.
yeah, Kirk and Spock, they'd already served for many years,
Right.
worked their way up to that position. They wanted young, sexy actors, so they were like, "Oh, I know, they're cadets," and become captain of the Enterprise. Day 1, cadet. Day 2, captain of the flagship of the Federation.
Just like that.
Exactly. So
Didn't even fill out paperwork or nothing.
No, he didn't even graduate.
I know you're blocking that shot.
In the first movie, he didn't even graduate. He
What
got
am I
kicked out.
blocking? Oh,
He got kicked out for cheating on the Kobayashi Maru.
Right.
I'm not familiar enough with TOS to
Oh,
contribute.
It's fine. Don't worry about
I'm
it.
a STNG.
Yes, I know. Next
I'm a huge,
generation. We're
I'm
the
a huge
Picard.
Next Generation fan, man. Like, huge.
We love the Picard. Oh, and speaking of Picard and Patrick Stewart, have you seen the new X-Men trailer?
I did. I have
have
not liked a
different-
single X-Men movie ever made by
Oh.
anyone ever.
And
They're
so you're not happy they brought Bryan Singer back.
they are
Hater.
all hot garbage.
Hater. I did hear though that he looks absolutely fan-fucking-tastic at 70 whatever years old he
Oh
is.
my God, yeah.
On the beach somewhere, being all like, check out the gun show.
I think that it's because as when we were younger, we saw him as the captain of the Enterprise,
thought he
and he
was
thought he was
70
70
years old
then.
then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he looked 70 then.
and it's 20 years from then, and now he
he's
still
still-
looks great.
They
Come
say
to
that
find
about-
out.
They say that about all those guys.
I know.
I mean, whether you're talking like Steve Martin or Patrick Stewart or
Yeah, just
Pat
ageless.
Sajak.
Right.
Pat
you know,
Sajak's dead.
They look good.
He's
They're
an
just-
animatronic.
those
He's
are just
been-
reruns.
He's been doing this for
Yeah.
15 years.
No,
Yeah.
they looked
animatronic.
really good for 55 years old when they were in their 30s.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just continued through time.
I wish we could say the same for Harrison Ford.
He's old.
Gosh.
I like Grizzled Harrison. I'm excited in this Star Wars.
I'm
to see
excited
a
for Grizzled Harrison Ford when he plays an old archaeologist.
Yeah, but you
as
know
Han
what?
Solo, it hurts. It makes me sad a little.
Grizzled works up to a point, and that worked with Quick and the Dead, not the Quick and the Dead, Good, Bad, and Ugly.
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood was grizzled.
True. Unforgiven.
And then one day he became
Get off my lawn.
old.
Yeah.
I think it was the day when he gave the speech to the empty chair.
the empty chair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that hurt him.
That's where you're
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, it's like my grandpa with dementia.
Oh,
Right.
he's a crazy old man
He's
now.
trying to
okay?
tell a joke. Oh no.
Nope, fell flat.
I know, but
Why
you're-
does everything come back to politics? Why does that matter
I
so
don't know.
much?
Because it's important
'Cause
this
it's
year.
real?
Because
Is it real?
It's the thing that controls our everyday lives.
Yep.
Who are you? No. What are you talking about?
Stupid me.
It's the Illuminati. Get out of here.
We're at the relaxed part of
Oh, is
the
he dying
podcast
now?
of the podcast. Oh yes, well yeah, Yoda's about to die.
This is a part I don't
Spoiler
remember.
alert.
Right. Spoiler alert. Yoda is about to go to
Yoda
sleep.
is Darth Vader's father.
What? No.
He's about to become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
by just falling asleep.
Oh.
So he dies.
That is the longest head death
Wait,
I've
hold
ever
on, hold on.
seen.
Keep watching, because
He's still-
something stupid's about to
Do
happen.
it.
He's
Do
about to
it.
disappear.
Something stupid.
Do it.
Where are Luke's hands right now? What's going on?
The balls, chin. What's going on there?
It's like he's never seen death before. He doesn't understand what it is. It's like a child. It's like, huh? Why isn't my goldfish swimming anymore?
Yoda, wake
Boom,
up.
disappears.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
But-
Think about this. Obi-Wan
Yeah,
disappeared.
That's
Disappeared.
exactly where I
Yoda?
was gonna
He
go
did
with
a
that.
lot.
Disappears.
I was gonna go
Darth
with that.
Vader, got to burn him alive.
Right. Why? Because he killed children.
Dark side.
Because he killed lots of Jedi younglings.
But hey, guess whose ghost shows up at the
right.
end?
I loved
Yeah,
was
that's
a Robot
messed up.
Chicken's version of that. They were like, yeah, he popped up at the end and he was all glowing. He's like, yeah, fourth quarter conversion. Like everything's all right now. Yeah. And then not only that, they put the kid in there now. That's the special edition where they've got
Oh,
Hayden
no.
Christensen is now in that.
Oh yeah.
The glowing scene at the end of
man.
this. Luckily, though, they did not put him in the old man mask when they unveiled
Oh,
Darth
so
Vader. They
stupid.
kept the British guy.
Now let me ask you guys a question because we're an interesting part of this movie, and I'm sure you guys have heard because it's kicking around a lot. The fan theory that
I know.
Luke turned
I'm
to
tr-
the dark side at the end of
I'm
this
trying
movie.
so
We
hard.
just talked about that about an hour ago.
I'm trying
Well, I
so
wasn't
hard
here,
to
so let's
just.
talk about it again.
No, I understand, but
I've been
Yeah.
trying so hard to just be la 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 about that because I've watched no trailers. I'm trying to keep totally dark
Well,
on this,
no,
but
they-
you can't
they
help but
haven't-
avoid it.
They haven't hinted at anything
Right.
in any of the trailers.
It's just the
there's
fans.
there's that one shot where they're like, well, maybe that's, but
Right.
but you don't see anything, you don't know anything. Nothing was determined.
You
for
hope
that.
it's just J.J. Abrams throwing you a curveball,
but
you don't know.
Here's the thing. So there was about 5 or 6 years ago, there was a roundtable discussion hosted by Kevin Smith.
Okay.
With a few different geek people there, and they were talking about different
what does he
sci-fi
know
stuff.
about Star Wars?
And one of the things they were talking about was Star Wars, and Mark Hamill was a guest on it, and he was talking about how he had originally thought that the end of Jedi would feature his character turning, and he thought that that would be beautiful to see Luke, after he went through this whole thing and everything, succumb to the dark side
Great cliffhanger.
to kill, to stop the Empire from all the horrific stuff it was doing, and in turn losing himself.
Right, he still
in
loses.
many ways mirroring, thinking that was for the best, but then who knows what comes after that and everything. And
Happened to his father.
sitting right across from Mark Hamill at the table was J.J. Abrams.
Way before
Way
he was even
before-
involved with
I think
Star
he had-
Trek.
I think he had just gotten
first
offered,
Star
I
Trek
think,
movie.
For the first Star Trek movie.
Wow.
So they were talking about that, and you just see JJ kind of nodding along and everything.
Oh,
And
wow, interesting.
I bring it up because that scene where Yoda dies right there, he very specifically tells Luke that if you allow yourself to succumb to your hatred, you will turn to the dark
I
side.
Right.
am a big champion of movies that don't end happy.
Sure.
And I would have been totally on board with Luke turning at the end after some selfless act of destroying the Empire or whatever.
right.
And that's something we were talking about last hour, was that watching these films in succession, there are glimpses of when Luke does show hate and anger.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in his training and such, and
he-
even in some of
he
the
goes
the
into the
battles,
cave, yeah.
in some of the battles that he's doing. I mean, he's not just going like. I mean, he is actively attacking
Right.
with his lightsaber. So
And not to jump ahead in this movie at all
Right.
or anything.
The final scene with Darth Vader, you see a lot of anger within him, and then he cuts his
Sure.
arm off,
Well,
or his hand
let's
off.
not even talk about that. The Emperor looks him right in the face and says, "Strike me down."
Right.
And embrace your destiny.
Mm-hmm.
He force grabs his lightsaber, goes to kill him. Vader stops him.
Right.
That doesn't mean that he didn't become. Just because he didn't succeed in
Right,
killing the
sure.
Emperor
Right.
doesn't mean that they didn't get exactly
The
what
thought
they
was
wanted.
already there.
And if
Wow.
somebody from the light can turn dark, somebody from the dark can turn light, which is what Anakin Skywalker or Darth Vader did.
Right.
No, that's not implied anywhere. He
To-
was full
to-
of fear,
to
anger,
win-
and hate when he killed the Emperor.
But he does show up at the end as a good guy. So I mean that's
No,
arguable.
He
that
shows up
turns
as a
to the light.
spirit with the Force. He
Oh,
does.
Right.
Fuck that.
He may not have the. He may not have. Yeah.
This isn't an all dogs go to heaven, good guys get to be ghosts, bad
The
guys don't
aristocrats.
thing.
Oh,
This is
I'm sorry,
this is
I don't know what movie I'm in. What?
no this nowhere does it say that only people who are of the purest heart get to go Obi-Wan
Right.
ghosty. It's just if
But they're all hanging out together.
no,
Obi-Wan.
if the Force is powerful in you, then your
Right.
spirit can live on.
Apparently-
but it doesn't say anything about heaven or hell or good guys or bad guys. It's just
No.
strength of the Force.
Yeah.
And the Force was clearly strong enough with Anakin/Vader that he would have been able to have mastered the ability for his powers to move on, especially after seeing Obi-Wan do it right in front of him.
There was always good in him. That's what his son told him. I feel the good in you.
There's always bad in him also.
Right.
As there was in all of them.
But he got to be a spirit at the end, which means he turned in his Jedi frequent flyer mileage, and he got to go with the rest of the ghosts.
Maybe it was just from all of the good he absorbed from killing those younglings.
And I'll tell you what, I think that
I can't believe that.
if in the storyline Luke Skywalker turns to the dark side in this next film, I think that J.J. Abrams is going to get a hell of a lot of criticism
He will.
for that. But he's going to get equal amounts of praise from actual film critics for writing
Writing
a
the ship. Right. You're right.
for not for writing writing the ship is a good analogy, but for having the courage to write something that is maybe not popular but a good story.
And he's got 2 other films to bring him back to
Well,
the good
let
side.
me
Yeah, well,
let me
of
let me
course,
ask you this
Or kill
though,
him off.
also. Yeah, he has 2 films to still do stuff. But let me ask
Sure.
you this: does being turned to the dark side and being a Sith necessitate that you have to be a villain? Like
Yes.
a true no.
Yes.
What I'm saying is that just because he goes to the dark side doesn't mean that he wants to replace the Emperor, take over the entire galaxy, rule over everything with an iron fist. Kill. All that means is that he has given in to his will. That he'll walk into a town and be like, "Give me food," and if no one gives him food, he'll just force choke them to death and take the food. That doesn't mean that he's going to rebuild the Empire.
Okay,
You know what
okay.
I mean? So he could be. You could just see Luke sort of like even living as a hermit, like Obi-Wan style, just being like, I know that if I go out there, I'm gonna just do what I want and hurt people. So I just stay here.
Let's go.
And
Let's go into lore. So, can there only be 2 Sith at any one time?
no. They're
Because
very
that
specific.
Was spoken.
No, they're very specific in the movie.
Sure.
Where there's one, there is always 2.
Right?
But if you've ever played, I don't know, Knights of the Old Republic or
Okay.
read any of that, there's more than 2 Sith at a time. In fact, they're producing.
expanded universe,
They're
though.
producing they're producing Star Wars Rebels right now, which is canon.
Right.
That's been specified as canon.
Okay.
There are 2 Inquisitors hunting. I watched the last episode. There are 2 Inquisitors hunting Ezra right now, in addition to Darth Vader, who exists. In addition to, they've already mentioned other Inquisitors and Sith that are out in the universe.
So
Let's
does
put
that
a-
answer the question then, that
Let's
Luke
put a
is
quick-
not the Sith?
Let's put a quick pin in this for a second. So this scene that I just watched here between
Okay.
Han and
Han Solo,
Calrissian?
Calrissian, yes. Lando.
Lando.
They're kind of giving their goodbyes. Han
What
said,
the hell was that?
Han said, you can have my ship.
If I'm Han Solo, I am punching Lando so hard in the throat.
For turning him over
For
to Darth
turning-
Vader.
for being a bitch and turning and turning me into a piece of concrete.
You know what? That is
Hey,
true.
that's just Lando being Lando, man.
Han was frozen all these years, but his last memory was that Lando effed me over, man.
Well, you're not paying any attention
Yeah,
to
but
everything
that-
else that's going on.
That should have happened in Jabba's palace when you
Right.
saw Lando for the first time.
That should have
in
been
Jabba's
a-
palace.
that should have
That's
been a
when he should have
confrontation.
just like gone after him
And-
because he doesn't know.
Well, maybe Han had been debriefed and we didn't see that scene where, like, here's what's
Okay.
been going on for 3 years. Lando's actually here. He got himself a job. He went through the training, and now he's one of
he was
Jabba's
alone
goons.
with Leia for a little while, so
Yeah,
I'm sure he
that's
probably
true.
was debriefed.
Oh.
He's had some counseling. Now he's much better. Yeah, blah blah blah.
So what if we find out? Yeah, one of Leia's children is black in this new movie.
That's what everybody's saying.
It was
About
Lando.
Lando.
the black guy who's
She was lonely those 3 years. He was frozen in carbonite.
what is it? The black.
And he had the best Colt
uh,
45
Stormtrooper.
malt
Stormtrooper.
liquor.
Oh my God! The internet went nuts over that. It's like, how could that be? It's like,
Because you don't know the story, that's why.
They have him
you-
in Star Wars Rebels. They have him in.
did you even watch Episode 4 when Luke Skywalker was in the costume? Like, shut up!
I know. Black Stormtrooper, wah, I'm going to get on the internet and be upset about that.
I'm not gonna watch.
You don't even have to say the words Black Stormtrooper. You could just blank. Wow, I'm going to go
Yeah.
on the internet and be upset about that. That's the way the internet works.
I don't remember being this tired during the grand opening.
What?
We did the grand opening. We did 6 hours on that show, nonstop.
Well, you've been okay. Listen, Art, you were down from the beginning because of the shit show that started
we
everything,
couldn't get the
and
inter-
because this isn't working. So I
we
mean,
were not live like we were hoping
Yeah.
to be on YouTube, so we're taping the show to be edited later this week. Unfortunately, it just the Wi-Fi didn't cooperate today, and we're down. And we're
So you
not
were a little
online.
bummed out, and honestly, the show did not go as you planned it. I think because I think you wanted to watch the film and
Yeah,
do
and we were going to kind
commentary.
of comment, but then cool things happened
Yeah,
with
yeah,
people walking by, and our yo-yo guy came by, and then the store owners from the store across the hall there. It was cool that they came over and visited with us. Mark came over and talking about D&D and Star Wars. So I am happy with the show. It is turning out quite well.
And this is what you wanted because the 1 hour show goes by.
It does. The 1 hour, there's kids running by. See,
Did they-
see all the things we see?
Did they leave a bomb?
Oh, hell.
Okay. Anyway, you always say that you'd like to talk more,
And now we're doing it.
and we're talking.
I know. We try and just keep it to an hour, and then
That's
well,
hard
we
to
try to
do,
keep
by
it
the
to a
way.
half hour, and it ends up being an hour every
Yeah.
time. Now this time it's like, oh, we're gonna hit the 6th hour here, and it's like, oh wow.
And what happened was we had planned to do a 6 hour show based on the movies.
Watching the 6 movies and talking about them and our memories of them and
But
stuff
literally, what just happened was we talked for 6 hours, 5.5 now.
during the
We
movies.
really should have just closed that and just talked because
it's distracting now. Yeah.
none of this matters.
Yeah,
Right.
but you can do drop-ins
But-
and point stuff out.
I
Yeah.
mean, it kept us on topic. I mean, we always brought it back
That's
to
true.
Star Wars. And,
the
and what's
focus,
going
our focus is that the movie coming out next week. We're going to be doing a podcast from there. Is it going to be live? I don't know. We can barely get live when we do have Wi-Fi. We still
How-
don't have a plan for next week.
on. How long is that show going to be?
Same amount, 5-6 hours.
You know
Because
what, though? That's
we're gonna
gonna
have
be
people.
different. That's gonna
we're
be
gonna have
way
people,
different,
people
yeah.
standing in line and
quick
costumes.
question. Can't you guys run this show? Can it be as long as or short as you want it?
It
to?
I know we could end it right now if we wanted to, but I
don't
feel
want
some
to.
sort of obligation to waiting for the credits of this last movie
I like
now
the
for some
whole
reason.
idea of sitting through three movies. And you know what we should do? We should get a. I don't know if Fox has anything like this, but like a countdown timer, like a big red LED
Countdown to
clock.
the grand opening
No,
or
no,
the
no,
new movie.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not going there. What I'm saying is, when we pull people out of the line, and they're going to be characters,
Sure.
we start the clock at 3 minutes, and we talk to these people for 3 minutes.
That's
and
good.
Then when it's up, then it's time for them
All right.
to
Thanks.
Oh,
go.
yeah.
There's going to be tons of people standing in
hey,
line for
you
the
know-
movie.
You know what you could do? Do you have one of those? What do they call them? Phones.
Clock.
Yep.
Clocks.
iPhone with a clock on it with a timer.
But it's so much more dramatic if you have a big 2 foot by
I see what you're
18-inch.
saying, so that the audience can actually see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I'm just saying
it keeps
that-
us on time also, and it keeps the show moving.
Because people like Mark, I mean, they have things to talk about. They have
Sure.
they have a personality, and they're funny, and they know
We're good.
when to not talk. But the general public, you schmoes that randos that we pull out of a line to see
Like we will next week.
the Force Unleashed the first night. I mean, we don't know who we're gonna get.
Oh, yes, we do. We know exactly what we're going to get.
We do.
Characters.
And they may just want to continue talking their own agenda for, I don't know, 20
Well, these
minutes.
will also be people standing in line, and they don't want to be away from their line too long.
Ooh,
Why, do I
that's a
really
good
want to
point,
update
yeah.
my QuickTime right
True.
now in the middle of the movie? Come on.
Quick time.
I'm gonna guess yes. Why?
Jeez.
And then what are we going to do? We can't go get snacks. We can't go get drinks.
We have the snack bar right behind us, actually.
Oh, that's a good point.
Of course, that's expensive.
Did they sell beer?
We will be live at the Point Orlando Theater in front of the IMAX lobby to do our show.
Starting at 6.
Oh yeah, you can
I
get
was
stuff
gonna
from
say 6.
You can get stuff from Adobe Gillis over there.
Yeah.
Just order up cervezas while you're sitting out
Oh, that's a good idea. We're going to be there
That
that length of
sounds
time.
delicious.
Why not? Oh, they
there.
sped that shot up.
Interesting thing about Point Orlando, just for your own
Yes,
edification,
yes, there's-
it's considered one building, and they all share one liquor license, which means that technically you're allowed to drink anywhere on that property.
How the hell did they pull
So-
that off?
Because it's under one roof.
It's one. Well, there's no roof. But
Well-
yeah, no, it's all
Oh.
considered one
So
building.
there's at least 4 restaurants I can think of off the top of my head, plus the movie theater, which sells alcohol. Wow.
Does it really?
I think so, yeah. Most theaters do sell alcohol now.
Now they do, yeah. They have like one bar area there. You can get a glass of wine in a small.
Yeah, 'cause
glass-
what's a night out with
plastic
the
cup.
kids to watch the Peanuts movie if you're not shit faced?
Listen, if I had kids, I'd have to be drunk.
Woman would have to be drunk to let you have kids.
The more you know.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, yeah, same.
So we're looking at one of the more popular green screen scenes. It's the biker race through the woods.
This looks so much better on Battlefront.
It does.
You're absolutely right. But to think, I've seen the behind-the-scenes video, VHS
Oh, that's
of this.
awful. That is awful.
What they actually did was they had to walk through the forest with an actual camera, steady camera, shooting 1 frame a second.
And they sped it up.
And they had to speed it up. But I've seen the video where the guy's got the steady cam on, and he's walking through the woods 1 frame a second,
I'm surprised.
which
sorry.
looked cool. What
I-
doesn't look
I
cool
should
is
notice speaking
putting
to a microphone.
the speeder into the green screen. I mean,
Yeah,
what they
that-
did was cool, going through the woods at 1 frame a second. But
Is it the lighting? Is
it is.
This also inspired the pod racing segment.
Yes, of course.
This is
Now, if he wanted to go back and fix this somehow,
He should have.
I have no problem with that because he's got it on green screen somewhere. He
Yeah.
should be able to fix this.
With
Maybe
the way
he has.
that the technology and the software has improved.
well, they did. They did actually go back and redo some of the CGI on
So
this.
maybe
is
it-
fixed.
The blasters and everything. If you notice, look at the blasters when they
I
when
don't
they
care
shoot
about
at
the
each
You're-
other.
blasters.
you're talking
I care-
about-
I
No,
care
what I'm
about
saying
the-
is that someone put in time to edit this,
I
but
care about the
didn't
edges.
fix it.
Yeah, the edges of
the
the.
edges looking like crap.
It just looks like every James Bond movie when he was skiing when he wasn't really skiing.
Yeah.
And by 1983, they were doing the same thing they were
mean,
doing back in 1973.
Honestly, this looks like the greatest American hero.
You're right. I remember that.
Believe it or not.
It was, believe it or not, I'm walking on air, and it looked like green screen nightmare.
Oh yeah.
But you know what? Greatest American Hero came out the same time this was out, 1983.
Yeah.
So what,
Hey,
it's
and-
the same technology for television and movies.
Yeah, and that's actually getting a reboot also.
Is it?
Movie-
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a Greatest American
Movie or TV
I'm
show?
Very
Movie.
excited for that.
See, I don't mind that because it wasn't done quite so well the first time, and it wasn't given an opportunity to grow as a show. So for that to be a movie, let me guess, Chris Pratt? No,
Of
I'm
course,
just
Chris
guessing.
Pratt. Yeah, no. Well, let me put it. I'm
Mickey
not sure
Cat.
where it's at in production right now. It's been greenlit for a while. They've gone through casting. They changed directors a couple times.
Sure.
And I'm not sure if they're actually in the process of moving forward with pre-production right now,
I
or
could-
if they're
I
still in
could see
casting.
that.
But they're very excited about doing a Greatest American Hero
Another
movie.
TV show from back in that period, $6 million Man, I believe, is also being
That-
put into
yeah,
some sort of
which I
production.
believe is a $6 billion
Yes,
man now,
they
or,
upped it to a billion.
or trillion maybe. I'm not sure if.
That seems a bit high. Even billion
That seems-
seems a
that
bit
seems a bit
high.
much.
But we did rebuild him. They made him better, stronger, faster. So maybe it would cost that kind of money.
And again, I mean, if it didn't cost that much, we'd all have laser eyes by now.
Right. All right, so real quick, give us your opinion of the 3 original movies. Which one is your favorite and why?
My favorite is Empire.
Many people agree, yes.
Amazing story, great action. I
Great-
felt like the pacing was far better than it was in the first movie. Now, New Hope, anybody with a brain is going to say either New Hope or Empire. And
Right,
it's usually
right.
very small personal reasons as to why one or the
Right.
other.
I was in the theater. I was 6 years old. The movie blew me away. I can never forget that feeling. But then you get older and you say, man, Empire was dark and it was a better movie. I mean, I get that's what most people say.
Mm-hmm.
And the ending, it's like no happy ending here. We're not getting medals put around our necks in this movie.
Right, and the actors kind of came into their own a bit more. Like, Mark Hamill's a fantastic actor. He's a great
Right.
voice actor.
Doesn't
and
get
everything
credit
like that.
for it. You're right.
But really, if you watch him, if you watch the difference for him as an actor between Empire and New Hope,
Oh, wow.
I mean, you've got
Tashi converters.
I don't wanna
Right.
go and get,
Right, right.
like just whiny and not hitting his marks right. And,
Right.
And like even when he's like standing outside after looking at the two suns and they're doing
I
like that
know.
kind of like gazing into the
All right,
future
now
thing.
gaze into like they're telling him right now. Okay, I need you to gaze into the, and he's got the gaze look.
Yeah, whereas in Empire, that all seemed much more refined.
You forget that sometimes. You watch Star Wars enough times, you just become accepting of the acting. But then Special Edition comes out, and they showed a whole new scene where it was him and Biggs before they got onto their X-wings, and he's sitting there chatting with Biggs, and it's like, oh yeah, he wasn't acting so good. Biggs, I got stories to tell you, and it's like, oh yeah, you forget he wasn't, he wasn't all in with the acting just yet.
Exactly. And here's a question that I always like to ask Star Wars fans.
Sure.
What is the better Han Solo moment? Han shooting first,
Right.
or I know?
What's the better moment? Ooh. I think that if you're a younger kid and you don't know anything about girls yet, you probably see Han shoot first. Like, look what he did, man! He shot him. But once you start to get attached to the other sex, and you hear him say that, it's like, yeah, man, that was a good line.
Yeah, because there's very few times where, and you see it in great literature, great writing, great acting, where they're able to encapsulate everything about a character in just one short burst.
2 words.
Where if all you saw was that 2 seconds, that you would know everything you need to know about that character.
Right.
And both of those moments are that for Han, but in different ways.
In totally different ways, right.
So whether it's Han shooting first or whether it's him just, I love you. I know.
I mean, just
boom. Like,
even though it wasn't written that way.
it was. He came up with that line.
Right.
But still, it just it speaks so much to the understanding of the actors in knowing, oh wow, this isn't just Buck Rogers. This isn't just a sci-fi thing. There's some real stuff going on here.
Yeah.
This is no joke.
And Lucas could have easily in the editing room gone back to his original, whatever the line was supposed to be. I love you too, or what did he say?
Yeah, it was something sappy like I love you too, Leia.
He was so like, this is my project, this is my thing, how dare you change the script. He could have easily have gone back to the original, but thank God that he didn't. Because, and we had another example that we mentioned earlier, another example of Lucas and Harrison Ford would be when Harrison decided to shoot the guy he was going to have a sword fight with in Indiana Jones. It's like, that's the better thing. Sometimes you got to let your actors do their thing.
Right. Also, Harrison Ford was extremely ill.
Yes.
He had like 103-degree fever.
Right.
The runs. He was just like, no, I'm not going to have a...
Right. I'm just going to shoot this guy. Right. I'm not going to say I love you. I'm just going to say I know. Harrison Ford.
Did I just miss that scene?
No. We were just talking about it
again. You
again.
just missed the scene where Harrison Ford...
shits his pants?
Yeah, where Harrison Ford shoots the guy with the sword.
With the sword.
Oh. Greedo, right? Greedo had the sword?
Yeah, Greedo had the sword.
Right.
So if it turns out that Luke Skywalker has not turned to the dark side, are you going to be disappointed?
I'll only be disappointed if they give him some sappy hero.
I don't see J.J. Abrams doing that though. Yeah.
Where like the whole series, the whole movie is going on and everything, and then right at the end where it's like, oh no, what are we going to do? All of a sudden it's just like zoo. And there's Luke Skywalker standing there with a lightsaber, like, I've come to rescue you all. Like, if it's that, then I'm going to be disappointed.
This is one of my favorite scenes of the entire series.
All right.
Because it is when the evil character that we've hated for 2.5 movies now is confronting a character so evil, way more evil.
You're referring to Darth Vader finally confronting the Emperor in scenes now. We're finally getting to see them in scenes together.
We're now kind of understanding that Darth Vader is just a puppet for the most part.
Right.
From his master, a much more powerful Sith. Did they even call him Sith at that point?
No, I don't think that was
Sith
ever
only
mentioned.
Came around from
the newer movies.
From,
yes. Darth Vader, I think he was known as the Sith Lord in maybe the books that came out, but they never say it in the movie. Dark Lord of the Sith, I think is what it was.
I wonder, has it ever been kind of written or told by Lucas that he was making an allegory about anything in these films?
About good and evil, or?
I mean, the whole thing is an allegory.
Well, sure, but I mean specifically about something, because these were made in the late 70s, early 80s. This is end of Carter, beginning of Reagan. I wonder, and certainly Cold War type stuff.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if that had anything to do with the direction that he was going.
Actually, with the Emperor, he was warning us against letting Dick Cheney get back into office.
And
in the early 80s.
Way ahead of his time.
We
missed it.
Wow.
We completely messed
it up.
We should have listened to the director's commentary a long time ago. We would have caught that.
I often wonder why Dick Cheney never cared to run for office after the end of that. Like a lot of times when you have
he was thinking
he's more machine than man.
Right,
at this
right.
point. Like
he was thinking he was on a roll. Yeah.
He's actually got he's got like a biomechanical heart.
Right,
and,
that's true.
And all this stuff. Like
he blew his friend's face off. shooting quail or whatever it was.
Oh God, that's right. I
I
forgot
think it
about
was
that.
shooting friends. I
Right.
think I think that's what he was hunting. Man, we know each other.
I wonder if it was like a.
Be very, very quiet. Man.
Do you think it was a medical? It was a medical thing where it was like, there's no way you could survive this being a president.
I think he just knew that there was no way he was going to win. He wasn't going to put himself into that.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Here.
Maybe, but I mean,
And here come the Ewoks.
he was basically. Oh God,
We've had the volume
he
down.
was basically president for the last 6 years of that presidency.
We've had the
run anyway.
volume
Yeah.
down most of the time, but Greg had it hooked up so we could listen to the audio, but not recording
shit.
it.
Oh,
He wa-
shit. Oh, shit.
Yeah,
We
he wasn't
never
even
did
talking
that.
about. He wasn't even
Sorry.
talking about the spear. If I had a nickel for every time a woman said that to me.
Point that thing somewhere else. They did shoot him from the waist up. We don't know what's going on down below there.
Exactly.
There was a very cool. There's a very cool alternate. I don't know, realization of the Star Wars universe, where they talked about how the Jedi ruled in a peaceful way for so many years because they had these lightsaber
Right,
technologies.
thousands of years, yes.
And it was only when when technology caught up to blasters that they were endangered, because all of a sudden now
Interesting.
they couldn't defend against blasters because, I don't know, their force would repel any bullets coming at them. So as soon as blasters became a situation, then all of a sudden Jedi were now threatened
Ooh.
because they could no longer use the force because it was an energy coming at them. So they had to then retrain themselves
Wow,
to
that's
actually
interesting.
use their
Lightsabers to block them, yes.
to deflect them or whatever.
However,
An
Han
elegant weapon
Solo,
from a most civilized age.
Han Solo took 2 shots at Darth Vader at that little dinner table at Cloud City, and he just held his hand up.
that's
That's the dark side. That's what's cool.
that's a problem.
That's the cool. It looked like he absorbed it also. Like it didn't ricochet, did it?
Yeah, it did.
It did ricochet. Okay. So like,
right on air.
like the little Cloud City, waiter who was like off to the side waiting to take his order. He just like took one to the neck and just dropped right down.
Hey guys, it's been a lot of fun, but I
All
actually
right.
have to.
Oh, thank you,
jump
Mark.
out
All
of
right,
here.
Mark, you got some D&D business to take care of.
I
Mark
do. I got
Viola.
dice to roll.
You can find Mark Viola on Facebook.com/Mark
Mark Viola
Comedy. And you can find him on the News Remixed once every while, once we ever get those episodes up on the air. And that's
ones they
usually
can broadcast.
that's usually at around the 10:45 hour of Fox 35 News at 10. And we usually, when we know it's going to go on, we post it on Facebook and let everyone know that our local comics are about to be on television.
All right, well, folks,
Thank
have a
you,
good
Mark.
time. Thanks
It's
for
good
having
to have
me.
you here.
Thank you.
I haven't seen you in person in years. I've been editing with you for the past 2 months, and I see you all the time, but not in person. So
Yeah,
this
I
was
kept
very
it,
nice.
I kept it that way.
Jesus,
Yes.
Art, will you let him go?
I
He's
know.
got a game to play.
Go, man. Roll some dice. Go.
All right, I'll see you guys in a few.
See
Thanks,
ya.
Mark.